So hello everyone and welcome to our Lien office presentation today. My name is Casey Turgeon. I'm the marketing coordinator for Polaris MEP. As far as Lien office goes, most people know about Lien manufacturing and they understand that it combats waste on the production floor. But today we are going to be talking with our Lien guru, Nathan Bonds, to provide a top line for how applying the same Lien methodology and tools to administrative processes can reduce wait times and improve communication. So let me see, can I go to the next slide? There we go. If you haven't worked with Polaris MEP yet, let me introduce our center. So Polaris MEP is a team of manufacturing experts whose sole mission is to help small and medium-sized Rhode Island manufacturers improve and increase their profitability. We're a nonprofit consulting group leveraging state and federal support to help businesses in the Ocean State. We help people with their top line, bottom line, and pipeline through a variety of services like the ones that you see here. It's my pleasure to officially introduce Nathan Bonds, our project manager and Lien Six Sigma Black Belt. Nathan's background includes more than 20 years of manufacturing experience in which he championed quality and continuous improvement. In those roles, he became quite skilled at reducing waste as a plant scrap coordinator. He championed a team of individuals using Lien methodologies to reduce the highest scrap product lines in each department and drive change management. Nathan, I'm not surrounded by plant scraps, but I confess there are far too many scraps of paper on my desk right now, and I'm excited to learn more from you about Lien Office.
Sounds great, Casey. So I just find it interesting when we transition and welcome everyone. Good morning, and thank you for spending your morning with me. I hope you have your cup of coffee as we work with many Rhode Island coffee roasters. I think I've worked with many of them in the state, but really thinking about it from a Lien office standpoints. And as you think about this, you know, sales, all of you that are working in administrative and office type of positions, you know, sales uses this form or no form at all. Don't be smiling right now. You know what I'm talking about. Then inside sales or accounting, you know, does this and has to interpret that sales form or add this or take it away. And then each process is treated so differently. And only certain key people, those of you who are in very small to medium-sized companies, know that those key people, man, I mean, they know it like the back of their hand. It's in their head, and they know what to do and how to do it to move it forward. Well, now it goes to the production floor, and production needs this, and then we need this, but the office released this, and invoices aren't right, sales orders are wrong, so on and so forth. And it just seems that the confusion has begun, not on the production floor, but all the way back when we received the phone call or we received that email to start our process in which we would call the office or administrative way. So let's look at our agenda today. I hope that resonated with you all. I know that this morning, as you think this, you're thinking of ways right now that, yeah, he's right. You know, what he said was, it's just interesting. And I wish everyone was on the same page. So let's talk about the agenda for today. So why pursue a Lien office? How to apply Lien principles and tools to administrative processes, what resources can help you go Lien, and why wait? Why wait? And then we'll have a question and answer section, but please use the chat to put comments and questions at any time, and Casey will get right on that. So, you know, why pursue a Lien office? Well, that's a great question fundamentally the same reasons you pursue a lean manufacturing floor are the reasons for trying to have a lean office. So you want to create the most value while consuming the fewest resources. I don't know if you heard this before. I'm sure all of you have had. There are too many cooks in the kitchen, thinking of it in during Thanksgiving or so on and so forth. There are times, more than not, that there are too many people doing this process. There are too many people signing off. There are too many people who have a say in this process. So you want each member of your office team to continuously improve so that they're removing the waste. More importantly, you want them and you want to know yourself, how to eliminate the root cause of waste and feel empowered to attack that cause. So you'll have inputs, you'll have activities, and you'll have outputs. And we want it to be very strong in our connections that are very binary. I agreed with this data point, you agreed with this data point, and there's not a lot of different ways that could be misconstrued. The same with paper, the same with equipment, the same with people, and the same with training. Been in companies before where this group of people have one printer and it's not even in their room, it's at the end of the hall. That is not a good thing. That's just a very quick example. So why pursue a lean office? At the next slide is the benefits of lean office can really transform a team and the administration of a business. Positive effects are left far beyond the office itself. And before I talk about the bullet points, just think about this. There is a difference between a group and a team. A group of people might say, we're the accounting group, we are the sales group, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're a sales team. It doesn't necessarily mean you're an accounting team where each person has the accounting team's mindset and the key process indicators that we're all fighting for each other. We have each other's back. So a group is not the same as a team. A team has a goal. A team is continuously moving the ball towards that goal, whereas a group sort of has just a title, if that makes sense. So what would the benefits of lean office be if you were a team? Improved processing time. That's a no-brainer right there. Reduced or wasteful steps and processes, greater control of information flow, better and more responsive problem solving, and happier teams and customers. And I love saying that, happier teams and customers. You should celebrate when you solve a problem because we are all problem solvers. And as we are on teams, our team is there to solve a client's problem or a process problem. So let's talk about applying lean principles and tools to administrative processes. So anyone who's taken an introduction to lean with Polaris MEP knows there are foundational principles, rules, and tools that help you identify and eliminate the waste, and common tools to help you flow the product at the pull of the customer. So we'll talk about these 8 waste of lean. There are really 8 waste categories. And the 8 waste are one of the fundamental pieces. It's often known at Polaris MEP, Manufacturing Extension Partnership, or any of our MEPs across the nation. There's 50 of them. The MEP National Network, there's at least 50, one in every state in Puerto Rico. And we all use the common language that the 8 waste categories could be said or known as downtime. So it's often known as downtime. If you look on the internet, some people might have Tim, T as in Tom, would. There are other acronyms. We like to use downtime because it's very specific. Anytime the process of information or material, people aren't flowing, you are experiencing downtime. So we'll look at that. And let's look at the 8 deadly waste in the office. So each of the 8 waste can be translated from manufacturing to office. For example, I want to talk about defects right now. So defects are producing defective work that needs to be redone. Who here joining me or at the sound of my voice, when you're watching me in the future on this recorded webinar, doesn't have a smile on your face knowing that it applies to all of us? We're all human. We all make mistakes, right? And as the great philosopher G.I. Joe said, now I know, and knowing's half the battle, that cartoon in the 80s. So for defects, I just want to give you 3 very quickly. Order entry errors. You can raise your hand or you can sit on your hand. Has anyone ever experienced order entry errors? What about invoice errors? What about bad or missing information? Now we'll click to the next one. What about overproduction? Overproduction is where we're producing too much or too soon, doing work before it's needed. Check these examples out. Producing reports, don't tell me this isn't frustrating, that no one needs or reads. Producing reports that no one needs or reads. And you have to do it every Friday before you leave. You gotta make that report. What about entering repetitive information on multiple documents? Oh, so frustrating. What about receiving memos or email to all or everyone? So you were a part of an email thread and you weren't even involved in an answer. And there's all these individuals on this group and someone responds and you're involved in this huge melee of all these emails. So again, that's where overproduction, it's too much information. You don't need it, so on and so forth. Now let's move to waiting. We'll click to waiting. Waiting is a category of waste. It's we're waiting on material or people are waiting for work, resources, or information. Now tell me of you all who are here today or watching me in the future, you're waiting for approvals or signatures. There are attendees that are not on time for meetings. Those are categories called waiting waste. So now we'll click to the non-utilization of people, or we call this non-utilizing people or talent. So as a reflection of talent, skills, or etc. So here's an example of non-utilized talent. We start using software without prior training. What about this? Limited authority and responsibility for basic tasks. So who's doing that? What? No. I'm not allowed to do that, but it's a part of my job to do it. Or inadequate business tools or training available. So sure, we have the ERP, we have this process in place electronically, but at the end of it, the person isn't for sure how to take that information and put it into a Google Doc, into an Excel spreadsheet that production or the downstream process needed. And so we get stuck. Now let's talk about transportation. Transportation waste. It's redundant, unnecessary movement of things, material, paperwork, supplies So there's no signs of identifying areas or departments. There's multiple handoffs, approvals, or bad area layouts. So
Sorry to interrupt.
Printer.
Sorry to interrupt. We're having some technical difficulties here. You can continue. I just wanted to apologize for the slide confusion going on.
Oh, no. We're okay. Yeah, no. So then we'll talk about inventory waste. And again, it's files piled up on desk. There's no storage space because it's filled with stuff or not needed. Or there's like batch processing transactions. So we're going to do all these invoices, and then we're going to do all these purchase orders. Why not do the purchase orders needed for the day, the invoices needed for the day, and so on and so forth? Motion could be where we are looking for items without a defined space, file searching on a computer, employees not working to a standard method. And then last but not least, extra processing. It could be multiple signatures or re-entering data. Does any of that sound familiar to you all as you're working in the office? So I'm going to move to the next slide here. The 8 ways of Lien. So just type into the chat which of these 8 ways that you think are the biggest challenge for your administrative team. And Casey can read through those. It all causes stress and even overtime and delayed orders, right? And so I say any delays, frustrations, it frustrates you, it delays you, and it wears on you and stresses you out. So, when we apply the Lien principles and tools to the office, first your team will learn how to identify those 8 waste categories and then learn how to attack them. And you'll be empowered to change them, not just go home every day, feel like you're in Groundhog Day and be frustrated. So the next slide is through direct observation. That's really how we see something, we say something. We teach clients how to see the waste, make it visible, how to look at their physical offices, at those activities. I recently worked with a client that struggled with the way information related to orders, invoices, purchase orders, and how the production flowed between departments through order entry, engineering, and management. And there really was a lot of unnecessary effort and things that were just taking too long. And this led to delayed quotes and even production on the wrong part. So waste that is happening in your office processes always goes downstream to production. It's just how it goes. Bad info in, bad info out. And we really have to attack, those problems that just keep happening to us. So 5S slide, the next slide is 5S is probably the Lien manufacturing tool that we make the most time with, and it helps us to transform the office. So again, put a note in the chat box if you're familiar with 5S, but we're talking about it specifically in the office process. So here's a picture, 5S before, of just imagine going from this, to this. The bookcase transformation was a result of first sorting items and then eliminating what wasn't needed. Resources for a Lien office. There are a lot of videos and how-to articles online about Lien office. After this session, we will email you a link to a few of my favorite articles. Now, if we look on the next slide here from Google, our clients have found that all the advice can be overwhelming to do on their own. I'll just be honest. We have something in what we call Toyota Kata, and they say, have a coach, be a coach. There's even Olympians, amazing athletes that downhill ski. The top 3, what differentiates between a gold, a silver, and a bronze medalist may be thousands of seconds, and yet they have a downhill ski coach. We all need coaches. So again, doing it on your own, I think that's great from a personal standpoint. But when you're really trying to transform your company, we really recommend, having me as a coach and having a coach and being a coach. I love saying this in business. Who are you holding a hand and looking up to? And who is holding your hand and looking up to you? So often team members resist change, which just adds more stress. There's also the struggle to sustain the gains. So a service that we can provide any Rhode Island manufacturer is Lien Office. So we'll go to the next slide. The Lien Office transformation, I just want to explain how it typically works. So we always walk through that Lien facilitation. We're in a training center, cafeteria. Your office, if that makes sense, where the boardroom is. It doesn't matter where we're meeting. It is in that area where we go through the awareness and we'll walk through, well, what is Lien Office? What are the 5 S's? So we would go through the slide decks and bring that about and walk through the process. Now, the next step would be a 5S pilot process, which we take that 5S and apply it to a specific process with team members from all different areas, stakeholders, shareholders, that would be affected by that obstacle. And the follow-up coaching is done through current obstacles, looking at what has been implemented, looking back at the 8 waste, addressing them one at a time. Are we closer to the goal? Setting up experiments through the obstacles we've just talked about, and then attacking it from a coaching perspective through either virtual meetings, in person, maybe once every other week, once, bi-monthly, or once a month. So why wait? Why wait? We're moving into the last section. So the benefits are inefficiency costs at companies are anywhere from 20 to 30%. According to research firm IDC, your company cannot afford to lose nearly a third of its revenue every year. So if you have inefficient processes, your talented teams won't be able to pursue new opportunities. You may lose a bid because of a late quote. You may feel unable to take on a new order when you could have seized that chance. So customers don't just look at the quality of the part that you deliver. They're also considering the quality of the interactions with your team. And if you've got a bookkeeper who makes a lot of errors because they're not getting the right inputs or weren't trained properly, that can really affect them in just a bad way and cause issues for your customers and their supply chain. So frustrated and stressed out teammates, they won't stay long. I'll just be honest. And it's very hard to overcome. People will leave because they're not getting traction in what they're doing. So the hiring market is hard enough. Don't let your talent feel like they have to leave because they don't know how to fix the problem. That's my overview of why Lien Office and how you can achieve the benefits. So let's talk about some questions and answers, and I'd love to hear what we have for you guys, what you put in
everyone. Sorry, interrupting. Typing in the chat here, the Q&A. If you have any questions, to let us know. And
don't be
we've got
shy
some time
and
here.
don't be bashful.
Let's give everybody a minute here to the funny thing with any of these webinars is there's such a delay because first of all, people have to type it,
Yes.
and then they have to send it, and then it has to, actually show up on my computer. There can be such a delay. So I want to give everybody a little bit of time here.
So as people are typing their questions or so on and so forth, I know I gave you a lot of information in a short amount of time, but just thinking about shifting your way through visuality. So thinking about things, and if I were to walk in your area, walk into your office and say, okay, well, what is a priority today? And yes, I think shipping is included in office processes. So what is a priority? And having a visual area for, what's being sent today, what's being sent before lunch, what's being shipped after lunch. Do we have a physical location for things? So most of the struggle in an office environment, whether you have folders on your desktop or physical folders on your desk area, most of the struggle or confusion is due to information deficits. I'm going to say that again. Most of the frustrations and delays that all of you experience in a Lien office or lack of a Lien office has to do with not having the information within 5 to 30 seconds. Does everyone know what your next step is? Does everyone know what your next move is? Do you know what your downstream process is going to do in the next hour? If you don't, why don't we have a Lien office? Why don't we create those visual inventions to reduce or eliminate those visual deficits? So a visual workplace really is invented by workers that are on a team, that each person is asking them, I need this. I would love to know when you do this, I would love to have a cue for this. And this is how I would address that. So that's what some of those things that you could do, knowing those things within 5 to 10 seconds. That was a great question, Marianne. Shipping is absolutely an office or administrative process that really needs to be a very lean process, if that makes sense. Any other questions?
Doesn't look like it.
No worries at all.
All right.
And so good to see Elizabeth here on. Elizabeth Fraden of Beth Bakes. What an amazing company owner Elizabeth is. And Elizabeth, it's so glad that you're here. Thank you all for joining today. And again, please don't think that everything is messed up in production, when really, we really have to understand that if our processes aren't the way they should be, aren't the way they could be in our offices, that will translate into purchase orders being late. It will translate into scheduling issues, unpredictability of processing. So again, everything you do on the administrative side is going to affect your production, purchase orders, scheduling, data collection, all of that. If you don't do that in your office, we will have a problem. So thank you for your time. I'm honored that you all joined, and I look forward. Casey will send you a link to the survey, and please reach out to us. We would love to work with you. Let us know. The survey is going to let you know, I want to work with Nathan within 0 to 30 days, 3 to 6 months, or 6 months to 9 months, or 9 months to a year. Either way, we're here to help you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.